Hi everyone, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're doing another Whisky In, Whisky Out, your favourite and mine. This time it's the month of November, of course. A couple of days late because that's how things happen, but let's get into it. Now, if you don't know what these videos are about already, I literally am doing a video where I tell you what bottles came in through the door this month and bottles that have left into the recycling this month. Nicely, neatly down below in chapters, so you can see if you're not interested in the Whisky Ins and you're only interested in the Whisky Outs, then skip ahead. Do whatever you want to do. And of course, links to all of the videos will be in the description below with some coming soons, and I'll try to come back and add links to those if you're catching these a little bit later, because it's more of a bit of a log throughout the year of what's coming in and what's going out, because my big videos that happen in January don't always capture the full scope of the year, because some bottles don't make it the whole year. Unfortunately, some are too good, some just go. That's just how things are. Alright then, let's not waste too much of your valuable time and we'll get straight into Whisky In. A bit of a massive month this month, so we'll get straight into it. Okay, now this one here, I'll do this one first because you may have seen it already. I literally did the video yesterday. This is the latest Bimber, exclusively bottled for the whiskey world. I don't know, I did this video yesterday and maybe this is already sold out, but go and check out that video pretty quickly. If you're interested in Bimber, if you're interested in their special Christmas releases via the whiskey world, links below, and you can go and get a bottle of this. It's 100 quid, a bit of a bargain if you ask me, but my full review is already out on YouTube. There you go. Next up, I'm just grabbing things in random orders now. We've got here the Ardray. Bit of an interesting one. This it's from the outside, it's a very unassuming labelling. It just says blended Scotch whisky, and those are weird. Those are words that tend to put people off these days, which is a shame. But I haven't reviewed this one yet. But this is a Beam Suntory blend. Obviously they've got a lot of distilleries, and in fact they've gone as far as to extend that to the Beam Suntory Edrington group as well. So if you know your distilleries, you'll know what could possibly be in this, but obviously I'm not going to review this for you now. I actually don't know what's in it, and I don't think I'll ever get to find out, but yeah, it's an interesting one for sure, and look out for my review of that coming soon. Keep grabbing then. We've got the Cotswolds Flaxen Vale. This is one of their Harvest series. I just covered the first release fairly recently. I actually sat on that a bit too long, the Golden Wold. So yeah, that came out, and now that I've just got hold of this, so why not? I'm going to be covering that fairly soon. I don't know for sure. Fairly soon, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it. You know me, I love a Cotswolds, but yeah. Actually, that's 2 English this month. Why not? And talking of more English stuff, sort of, we've got the Never Say Die, and this is the barrel strength bourbon. I've just done a review of that as well, so you can check that out already. There again, link below for that. Interesting one because this is a Kentucky straight bourbon, aged there for 5 years, and then it's shipped across to the UK in its barrels, which is pretty weird in itself. As I meant, I'll go through all of this in the video, so you can check it out in more depth if you want to. So it's like, apparently it's like 6 weeks on the ocean, which seems quite long to me to cross the Atlantic. But what do I know? I don't know anything about shipping. And then it sits at the White Peaks distillery, old Wireworks whiskey. Sits there, and then they decide what to do with it. So they're releasing a standard bourbon as and when they do, and then when they find a barrel that's particularly good, they'll release it as a barrel strength. This is the batch number 7, cask 260. So yeah, I thought this was bloody brilliant, to be honest. It was a massive step up from the standard bourbon. So if you're into your bourbons and you like your cask strength stuff, this is definitely worth having a look at. Cheap enough as well, it's like 60 quid. Okay, now this one here, this has only just come in through the door as well. I'll be covering this fairly soon. And this is a boutique whiskey company, part of their new World of Smoke series. English whiskey company, 10-year-old, which is pretty cool. Can't say much at the moment, I've only had the neck pour, but it was nice, it was really nice. It's a half litre, it's probably quite expensive for what it is, but I'll go into that in greater detail in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so yeah, now we're getting into a bit of a weird and wonderful selection, but here we are nonetheless. Here we've got the latest Rhythm and Booze. This is actually a rum, so yeah, I'm sneaking it on here, but I think you guys will be interested in it. I recently did a live stream with the guys from Rhythm and Booze because they're doing this really interesting project where they are pairing bottles with a playlist, or in this case a full EP, of exclusive music. So you literally, there's a QR code on the back of each label. You scan that, you get access to a SoundCloud that you can't get anywhere else, And the idea being that you listen to the music while you're dramming, or do whatever you want with the tracks, I guess. I guess you could download them, add them to your device, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's the idea. The first time round, they had a kind of like a bluesy, jazzy vibe about it. This time round, it's a Latin pop quartet, which, isn't my wheelhouse. It's not the kind of things I normally listen to. But what I will say about this is that in reviewing it, it forces me to slow down. So I'm literally, rather than sitting wherever I sit with a dram of it, writing my tasting notes, with this, it's made me come into this tasting room properly. My tasting room, dare I say a tasting room. It's made me come in here, load up the tracks, sit there with the dram, and listen to the music while I'm not doing anything else but sitting there, which I've really enjoyed that experience. It's been a long time since I did nothing else but listen to music. It's always background stuff for me. So I've been really enjoying pulling back into that. But I'll do a full review of that coming soon, because I think you guys will be interested in it. It's a really cool little project that I think deserves a bit of attention, even if you're solely into whiskey. Actually, I will dare I say I'm not really a rum guy myself, but I've actually found that rum quite palatable. Okay, now, yeah, we've got here sample sizes almost. Now, these are 200 mils, but I'll see what you guys think of this. You can tell me what you think. Now, I've got a friend who lives over in the States, and he came over recently and asked me if there was anything I could get him. I just realised you can't see that on the camera. There you go. He asked me if I could get him anything. Obviously, I've got a million and one things I could pick from, right? But when he texted me, there was a little wee set of this in Total Wines or something. And this is the Heaven's Door triple set. I've got here the straight bourbon, the double barrel whiskey, and the straight rye. So it cost me something like 60 quid, which is a bargain, really. Now, my question to you guys is, now I think these, the 200 mils, that I can easily review that. I can probably review 100 mil, which I'll get into in a minute. My question to you is, would you rather me do 3 individual reviews of these, which are probably, normal length, 6 to 8 minutes, something like that? Or would you rather see a almost triple length video where I cover all 3 of these in a kind of vertical tasting? I'll leave that up to you, and whatever comes out top on votes, I'll go ahead with, because I don't mind doing either way, to be honest. There's not really much value difference, let's say, in doing it either way or not. Obviously more content is more content, but if you guys are going to actually watch it, then I'll do whatever you want me to do with that. But yeah, interesting, because they are, I won't go into too much detail, but they are creating their own whiskies soon. I think they've got their own distillery now. Final one then. Now this one I definitely want your feedback on. I've been given this single grain estate whiskey from Circumstance Distillery. Now this is a Whisky In. This is 100 ml. Haven't opened it yet, haven't tried it. Now, again, on the same vein as that, what do you think is the minimum quantity of a bottle that you think is viable for a review? If I wouldn't typically review a sample size like a 50 ml, a 5 cl, but 100, I could probably do that. I think it's basically a bottle. It's got a cork. So let me know what you think about that, because I will be interested to know what you think. If you'd rather me just do that as a sample Saturday first impression, I can do that. But if you think that warrants a full review with some more information about exactly what it is, then let me know in the comments below on both of these things here, because I do want to know what you think. Again, I'll probably do whatever you think. Okay, that's the end of the Whisky In. Quite a lot going on there this month. I'm happy with that. We have got 4 going out, so we're going to get into the Whisky Outs again in no particular order. First one then, we've got the Loch Lomond, and this is the Steam and Fire. Now, this is a prime example of what I was talking about earlier on. I got this year, I've killed it this year. So if you only looked at my big videos in January, you'd never see it. It's gone. Talking of which, going completely off piste, if you really care about my collection and you want to see what's coming in and coming out on a regular basis, then check out my Whiskey Base profile. It's public, so I'll drop a link below, if I remember, in the description, so you can check it out. But otherwise, I'm NN Whiskey on Whiskey Base, and I actually, you'll get a sneak preview of what's coming up, because I add bottles to it as they come through the door. So you can probably, if you keep a close eye on it, you could probably see what I've got before most people know about it, if that makes sense. Anyway, this one didn't last very long. Michael Henry's a goddamn genius, and this was a really lovely whiskey, properly in the guard whiskey category, and that's exactly what it did. It kept me away from some of the really premium stuff I've got on the shelf, but it didn't last very long because of that. decent whiskey. I enjoyed that. It was good quality. Now, Ardbeg Wee Beastie. What to say about this? I reviewed it very, very well, and I paid over the odds for it. I was silly. I saw it in a shop and bought it without thinking about it, and I think I paid slightly too much for what it was. I enjoyed it all the way through until it started to get low. It got to probably, I want to say, a quarter, and then I started getting worried. I was like, this is the only Ardbeg I've got right now. I was running low on peated stuff in general, so I stopped drinking it. And I was like, I'm just going to get to it when I get to it. I had a few drams here and there. Then it got to like a third, and I broke my classic rule. And the rule is that when it gets to about a third, usually I say when it gets below the label, but this label's a bit low. So about this sort of size here. When it gets to about a third, all of my bottles, regardless of how old, how expensive, if they're open and they get down to this third level, they get moved forward in the box. They get put in front of guard whiskies, and they get killed at the next available opportunity. Might take me a few days, weeks, whatever, but I'll have drams out of it until they're gone. And I didn't do that with this, and I don't know why. I think it must have been because it's the only Ardbeg I've got, or what I was. Anyway, long story long, it was ruined by the end of it. The last few drams of this were so grim, I was very upset. The peat had disappeared, not altogether, but it didn't have the bite it had, and the sherry that they use in it, it came through burnt match, sulphur, which I did not get at the start of this, and it was a real shame. A classic example of why keep whiskey, especially when this is not expensive whiskey. I don't know why I did it. Stupid, moron. But yeah, I'll try not to let it detract from the experience of the rest of the bottle, because it was good. But the last few drams of that, it went off in just sitting there, and I'm gutted. But yeah, let that be a lesson to you. Keeping going then. Oh my God, this whiskey, the Falls of Caledonia from Heroes and Heretics. This is the 6-year-old variant, the first one. I think they've got a new batch of this out, maybe a 7-year-old version. This, when I was doing Whiskies of the Year back in 2021, this got an honourable mention, and in a different year it would have won, but it got beat by something else. This is utterly incredible whiskey for the price of it. It's like 50. This was 50 quid, but I think it's up to like 56 now with the new batch. Utterly incredible whiskey. I wholeheartedly recommend that you go and get this. It's, again, sherry whiskey, which I would never normally typically aim for or go for, but there's something about this, and I'm not the only YouTuber that will say this as well. Specifically, I think Jeff Whiskey absolutely loves this whiskey. It's a well-received, most excellent whiskey. Check them out. Finally then, another indie bottle. We've got the Firkin Whiskey Company, and this is the Firkin Rare Leipzig 2008, cask number SC5A. Another one I was gutted to see go, but this one I did adhere to my rules of killing it as it got too low. This was astounding from start to finish. I think they've had a recent price rise. They were 69 quid, now I think they're 72. Not sure if the same batch is available, but there are other batches available. I haven't had a bad whiskey from Firkin. I've had favourites and least favourites for sure. The Tullibardine being the least favourite I've had of theirs, but all of their peated stuff is great. As I always say with Firkin, if you like the distillery that's on the label, they're all finished in special casks. I won't go into it here. Go and check out the review if you're interested in that. They're all finished in special casks that have been, churned over with some specially picked fortified wines. In this case, it was a Masala wine. Just incredible whiskey. Absolutely incredible. There we go. Big old episode today. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. I know you guys like these videos. As always, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Any comments you've got about any of these whiskies, I want to hear it. If there's any of these ones that are Whisky In that you want to see bumped up the queue, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Finally then, as always, I want to know what you got in this month, what you killed this month. Let's have a chat about it. As always, I say I'm happy to chat about all things whiskey. You can contact me on all social medias, apart from Facebook and Twitter. I've come off of both of those now. Toxic environments. I much prefer my own Discord server. So if you want to get full access to me, then Discord is the best way. But emails and Instagram, I'm still fairly active on Instagram, so you can get hold of me in all of those ways, and I pretty much always respond to most things. get involved in the conversation. That's me done for another month. I'll see you again next month. And of course, final comment, don't forget to check out the reviews in between. And hopefully you enjoy December's content, because I'm doing daily advent calendar videos for the first time on YouTube Shorts. Lots of stuff going on. See you again on more videos coming soon. Cheers. If you don't know what this is about, Bella, go away.